I opened myself up to the possibility that I could have a relationship with a man as well as the two that I had. That night when we were at, you know, my Grammy party, and it was Puffy. It really was Puffy, Diddy, all of this. I do have a very heavy heart, and I am personally devastated.
Paul Carter is just as bad as the diddler, and I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it.
I'll stay, and I hope they don't, but if they detain him, that's when all lining up with their hand in there.
I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. I think he is very eager to tell his story, and I think he will tell every part of his story, including what you see on the video.
Diddy has spoken from jail, and the music industry is shaking to its core.
He's not gonna last very long. He's gonna squeal like a pig, and there's an awful lot of powerful people that cannot have that. So watch out for the Epstein treatment.
At the center of this chaos is Clive Davis, the man many believe is hiding more than he's willing to admit. What did Diddy say that made Clive Davis panic?
I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. I think he is very eager to tell his story, and I think he will tell every part of his story, including what you see on the videos.
Diddy's arrest has already sent shockwaves through the industry, but what's got everyone talking right now is what he's saying from behind bars, specifically involving Clive Davis, a longtime mentor and music mogul. People are speculating this is just the beginning.
Stay, and I hope they don't, but if they detain him, that's when all lining up with their hand in there.
It has been 2 weeks since Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in New York City, sending the media into a frenzy. According to his attorney, the charges against Diddy are serious, but the exact details of what led to the arrest remain murky. Fans have flooded social media with reactions, questioning how a man who once ruled the music industry could fall so far. The whole industry about to collapse. He got all of them in those freaky videos. How you think your favorite rap artist famous? One person commented. Took them long enough, a second person added. While a third person wrote, well, it's about time. Diddy parties have been canceled. The arrest is directly tied to a bombshell lawsuit filed by Rodney Lil Rod Jones Jr., a record producer from Chicago. In a shocking 105-page federal complaint, Jones accused Diddy of being part of an illegal racketeering enterprise. The details in this lawsuit are enough to make anyone's skin crawl. Jones claims to have irrefutable evidence that Diddy not only procured and distributed but also solicited escorts, some who were very young, to perform lewd acts. Even more disturbing, these acts were allegedly videotaped by Diddy as part of a twisted blackmail scheme. According to the lawsuit, Diddy had a stockpile of specific alcohol bottles laced with like ecstasy, which he forced women to drink. Jones also alleges that Diddy would threaten him with bodily harm if he didn't comply with his demands. The lawsuit goes on to describe a harrowing encounter between Jones and actor Cuba Gooding Jr., who allegedly groped Jones while they were alone on a yacht. The environment that Diddy created for his inner circle was reportedly filled with substances, illegal firearms, and coercion. Diddy built an empire, making him one of the most influential figures in music. From producing hit records to shaping the careers of artists like Biggie, he had it all. But behind the scenes, many claim there's a darker side to Diddy, a side that's now coming to light. And with Diddy furious about the exposure, he's allegedly threatening to take down everyone who has dirt on him. However, it might not be as easy as he thinks. For years, rumors swirled around Sean Diddy Combs and his secret dealings, with many comparing his alleged underground activities to those of Jeffrey Epstein. The whispers have grown louder, and now with Diddy behind bars, many wonder, could the same powerful elites who silenced Epstein be coming for Diddy next?
He's not gonna last very long. He's gonna squeal like a pig, and there's an awful lot of powerful people that cannot have that. So watch out for the Epstein treatment.
Diddy has long been accused of running an alleged blackmail ring, a dark and complex network designed to control some of the biggest names in Hollywood and beyond. Producers, musicians, politicians, and more. And this wasn't just about money. Sources suggest that Diddy wielded power through manipulation, allegedly holding secrets that could ruin careers. It's even been said that Diddy promoted an era of degenerate music that some believe normalized toxic behavior and poisoned society for years. Behind behind the glitz and glamour of Bad Boy Records was a darker enterprise, one accused of exploiting individuals while pushing destructive messages through mainstream culture.
Now, the charges haven't been made public just yet. In fact, the indictment was sealed. But according to the New York Times, a person familiar with the prosecution says they believe Diddy faces charges of racketeering and
Could this be the reason powerful figures are now aligning against him, determined to ensure Diddy never tells his side of the story? The criminal enterprise that Diddy's been accused of orchestrating extends far beyond the world of music. We're not just talking about financial fraud or the occasional dirty deal. Allegations range from substance distribution to the most disturbing accusations of all, human trafficking and blackmail at the highest level. For those who once believed Diddy's empire was built on talent and hustle, this arrest is a bitter wake-up call. There's a growing belief that his rise to power wasn't as clean as it seemed. In fact, federal agencies have reportedly been investigating Diddy for months, slowly building a case while gathering evidence that could implicate other major players in the entertainment industry. But it wasn't until recently that things took a dramatic turn. Just days before Diddy's arrest, insiders reported that he was allegedly planning to leave the country to escape the charges. Authorities had no choice but to act swiftly. The original plan was to arrest Diddy at a later date, but his rumored escape plot caused Homeland Security to accelerate their timeline.
Something's fishy. Now, whether it's directly involving P. Diddy or whether they're trying to utilize him to dime out others, something is awry.
Diddy, who had relocated to New York in anticipation of the charges, believed he had more time. But when federal agents swooped into his Midtown hotel, it became clear that his time had run out. You can only imagine the panic that set in when Diddy realized things were closing in on him. Led by U.S. Attorney Damian Williams, Homeland Security made their move. They took Diddy into custody in a swift, coordinated operation. A sealed indictment filed by the Southern District of New York was all it took to bring the once untouchable mogul down. But what's even more shocking is that Diddy had voluntarily moved to New York, thinking he could stay ahead of the charges. The comparisons to Jeffrey Epstein are hard to ignore. Both men are believed to have held sway over the powerful, both had their fingers in various high-profile industries, and both were allegedly involved in a criminal network that went far beyond what the public could imagine. Some insiders are even suggesting that powerful elites are now moving to silence Diddy, just as they did with Epstein. Could Diddy face the same fate as Epstein, taken down before he reveals too much? Sources close to Diddy claim that he's not going down without a fight. In fact, he's allegedly ready to expose some of the biggest names in the industry. And one name which could be on Diddy's snitch list is Clive Davis.
I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. I think he is very eager to tell his story. And I think he will tell every part of his story.
You see, what most people don't know is that Diddy actually had a mentor that molded him into the evil person he is today. Most of you should have heard about the powerful music executive Clive Davis and his contribution to hip-hop. Clive Davis was behind artists like TLC, Whitney Houston, and Brandy back in the 90s. Clive Davis actually signed Diddy to a label deal for Bad Boy after Diddy convinced him that hip-hop was going to be the next big mainstream music. The story goes, Diddy was fired from Uptown Records and was looking for a new home for his record company Bad Boy. This is when Diddy ended up meeting Clive Davis, who decided to fund Diddy's Bad Boy vision, taking Diddy under his wing and mentoring him. After becoming Clive's prodigy, Diddy became the mega hip-hop executive and mogul he is today, reaching heights he wouldn't be able to without a bigwig like Clive Davis behind him. Now, the industry for many years has been talking about this meeting between Diddy and Clive Davis, claiming that Diddy did way more than just show music to Clive. According to many in the industry, it was believed that in the 1990s meeting, Diddy actually got on his knees for Clive Davis and did some extracurricular activities for him. It is also alleged that Diddy would then end up secretly dating Clive during this time for 5 years. For years, this has remained an unconfirmed industry rumor that no one really had any proof of for the longest. Well, that all changed back in 2013 when Clive Davis himself wrote in his memoir that he was indeed a bi man who was into men and women, openly confessing that he had secretly dated many men within the industry. This for most confirmed the rumors that Diddy had to pay a dark price for his success. It appears that Diddy learned all of his dark, shady tactics from his mentor Clive Davis. Clive Davis took advantage of Diddy, just how Diddy takes advantage of artists today. Some of you should remember the allegations made by Jaguar Wright against Diddy. She claimed that a former lawyer who worked for Diddy had revealed to her some very disturbing information. Wright said that Diddy had a meeting with singer and New Jack City actor Christopher Williams about possibly signing a deal. The attorney in question needed to get approval for some paperwork and went to Diddy's office to speak with him. Jaguar claims the lawyer said the door wasn't locked, so she didn't think twice about just walking in. When she walked in, she saw Christopher Williams performing a little extra for Diddy. This story by Jaguar Wright, although unconfirmed, was believed by many as they don't put it past Diddy. What gives this story more validation is that Jaguar isn't the only person alleging that Diddy was into these kinds of activities. A Vine creator named Jay Versace also revealed that he had an intimate encounter with Diddy. Jay Versace alleged that Diddy invited him to his mansion when Diddy was at the peak of his career. Jay made these claims in response to a post showing women having fun on Diddy's big outdoor bed. Jay said that Diddy had him bent over that same bed. It seems that Diddy learned these behaviors from Clive Davis, who introduced him to the industry. Another thing Clive Davis might have taught Diddy is how to deal with artists who cause trouble. You see, some people online allege that Clive Davis got rid of artists he had problems with, like Whitney Houston. In fact, recent revelations are now showing that Clive might have actually benefited more from Whitney's demise compared to when she was alive.
In short, here is what a death clause does in my humble opinion. If an artist fails to perform or pay back advances, the artist becomes more profitable dead.
You see, the world of music contracts is a labyrinthine maze, riddled with complexities that often escape public scrutiny. Hank Harrison, a muckraking reporter, is someone that appears to have stumbled upon a chilling discovery buried deep within artists' contracts, the infamous death clause. This clandestine clause, also referred to as a non-performance or failure of performance clause, raises eyebrows due to its alarming implications.
Companies shall have the right to secure insurance equivalent to 10 times the estimated value of the artist's earning.
This clause, as unearthed by Harrison, is a contractual provision that grants recording companies the astonishing power to rake in immense profits, even in the face of an artist's untimely demise. This seemingly nefarious maneuver ensures that record labels are entitled to claim not only their investments, but also a substantial portion of the artist's earnings from various revenue streams. The mechanism, shrouded in secrecy, empowers companies to secure hefty insurance policies against the artist's projected earnings, effectively making them beneficiaries of the artist's life and death. The inception of the death clause dates back to an era where the corridors of power were controlled by shadowy figures, reminiscent of scenes from the silver screen. It appears that this clause was designed to guarantee the label's financial security and influence, even if it meant profiting off the demise of an artist. In essence, the clause suggests that an artist who fails to meet performance obligations or repay advances becomes an even more lucrative asset in death. Intriguingly, this malevolent clause has evolved over time, adopting a subtler facade while maintaining its exploitative essence. Once valued in thousands, it now holds the potential to be worth billions, owing to the colossal investments labels make in nurturing and promoting burgeoning talents. The insurance policies procured under this clause serve as a safeguard against potential losses in the event of an artist's incapacity or demise, thereby safeguarding the label's investments and projected profits. Amidst this maelstrom of revelations, speculation has begun to swirl around the extent of Clive Davis's involvement with the death clause. As a mastermind behind the success of many artists, including Whitney Houston, questions arise about whether he reaped any benefits from the tragic loss of his prized protege. While no concrete evidence has surfaced linking Davis directly to this exploitative clause, artists and insiders have started to come forward, painting a troubling picture of his role in potentially capitalizing on the grim provisions of the clause. Whispers have transformed into outspoken voices as several artists shed light on their experiences within the clutches of the music industry's dark underbelly. Their stories echo the same sentiment that the death clause, once a well-guarded secret, is not a relic of the past, but a contemporary reality. It has been alleged that Davis and other industry magnates might have leveraged this clause to their advantage, using it as a financial safety net against unforeseen losses. One person who spoke about this is avant-garde musician Diamanda Gallas. Days after Houston's tragic demise, Gallas took to her Facebook page calling the record executive a colossal pig. According to Gallas, Houston should have been allowed to study for a minimum of 2 years with a voice therapist or teacher before even rehearsing, let alone performing on stage. In the the entry, she claimed that the singer was put back on stage before she was ready to perform by Davis. Gallus wrote that Houston was ill-prepared to perform, writing, "What was she put on stage as? A lesson that substance is unalive. Hey, want to see a crack host sing?" Courtesy of Clive Davis. Wow, man, that will be some freaky-ish, right? You bet, man. Gallus didn't stop there, claiming that Davis could now, quote-unquote, package her death in frills and sell it big time, even during the nadir of record sales. She even went so far as to claim to foresee what the 79-year-old record industry vet would say in response. And Clive and Sony will say, even though we do not hope to even break even with this uncompromising tribute to Whitney Houston, we feel personally that it is her due as the foremost singer ever on our labels, and as the lovely girl she always was to us. At the time, a spokesman for Davis responded by saying, while Ms. Gallus is entitled to her uninformed opinion, her Facebook post is wholly inaccurate and offensive. Clive Davis cherished Whitney and shares a mutual love for the Houston family. It is absolutely outrageous for anyone to suggest that Mr. Davis ever had anything but Whitney's best interest at heart. If you think it's only Gallus making these insinuations, you'd be wrong. Gallus' comments were echoed by Jaguar Wright in a recent interview, where she claimed that Davis knew he needed Whitney back under his control, and that's why he was forcing her to have a comeback.
He needed her back.
Oh, yeah.
He needed her back, but he needed her back and under his control.
For context, Clive orchestrated Whitney's comeback in 2009 after years of substance AB and a messy relationship which ended in a messy divorce. Her debut album, I Look to You, sold 304,000 copies in its first 7 days on the market, sending Houston back to the top of the charts and giving her the best debut week of her career. Houston still stands for the best of songwriting, the best of singing, and we know the public wants it, Clive said in 2009. There is a song on this album which is called I Didn't Know My Own Strength, and it really speaks for Whitney. She tumbled, but she didn't crumble. In any case, Whitney did not release anything after that, since her voice had been ruined due to substance AB, much to Clive's disappointment. But despite the undeniable vocal decline and the unmistakable shadow cast over Whitney's star power, Clive's optimism seemingly remained unscathed. Of course, one might wonder if his rosy outlook was fueled by the substantial coin he continued to rake in from her legacy. It's difficult not to speculate whether Clive's unwavering hope was propelled by the echoes of revenue streams rather than genuine concern. In any case, it was no secret that the music mogul appeared to be more invested in making money than in his protege's well-being. You see, Whitney died on February 11, 2012, the day before the Grammy Awards. This was hours before she was to attend Davis's annual pre-Grammy party. At the time, the public and lovers of her music worldwide were devastated by her passing. However, Davis, Whitney's self-proclaimed friend and mentor, still hosted his pre-Grammy party in the Beverly Hilton Hotel on the evening of February 11th, despite the singer's body remaining inside the building until 12:45 a.m. At the start of the event, he shared a tribute to Houston, saying,
By now, sadly, you've all learned of the unspeakably tragic news of our beloved Whitney's passing.
The Grammy Award winner continued, I am personally devastated by the loss of someone who has meant so much to me for so many years. Whitney was so full of life. She was so looking forward to tonight, even though she wasn't scheduled to perform. Whitney was a beautiful person and a talent beyond compare. She graced this stage with her regal presence and gave so many memorable performances here over the years. Simply put, Whitney would have wanted the music to go on, and her family asked that we carry on. Whitney Houston's death on the eve of the Grammys in 2012 came as a horrific shock, if not entirely without warning. The platinum-selling singer and actress was to attend Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammys bash at the Beverly Hilton that night, but instead she died in an upstairs room after accidentally drowning in the bathtub. It was reported at the time that the LA County Coroner's Office noted in its postmortem findings that a white crystal-like substance was found in the room. There was also an open bottle of champagne and other personal items believed to belong to the late songstress. An autopsy was performed with the official cause of death listed as accidental drowning with atherosclerotic heart disease and cocaine use, just probably immediately prior to the drowning listed among contributing factors. In any case, although there's no solid proof connecting Clive to Whitney's death or being involved in Diddy's accusations, one thing is clear: Clive had some kind of negative impact on his artists. Particularly Diddy and fans are eager for that truth to come out. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.